presented by Dano's Seasoning. Yum yum, get you some.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into a special edition of the Sun Belt Syndicate with you from the first kick to the last pitch. As always, bringing you some Sun Belt action. Thank you quickly to our sponsors, College Football Dogs, who helps us bring this to you weekly, and also W Energy, Fanplex Graphics, TSN Off-Road, and of course, Dano's Seasoning. With me tonight, we've got the boys from Jag Nation Radio and Joe from Troy Boys as we get ready for the big matchup tomorrow night. How are we doing tonight, guys?
Doing good. How about you?
Thanks, Chris. Pretty good. Pretty good.
I was going to let him go first.
Kids, no, excited to be here. Let's get it going.
Yeah, so I guess we'll just jump into last week real quick. We'll kind of go over that stuff. Obviously, some interesting stuff that happened, and we'll start it off with a look at the standings, actually. We'll go there first. Anything's jump out and surprise you guys? I think my biggest one is over there on the west side with both of you at 3-0 ULM, 5-1 overall. I mean, I don't think anybody predicted that one, right?
Southern Miss at 1-5. You've never seen that one coming. Jeez. Tragic.
Neither of you guys feel bad for the Golden Eagles in that regard, right?
No, absolutely not. Everything that's happening to them is well-deserved.
It's deserved for them coming into the conference and immediately saying that, oh yeah, we're going to run the table. No, you're not. You haven't done anything since the 80s. So.
Now, I will say, you bring up ULM, and, people are starting to talk about them, but a lot of people are not talking about Louisiana. They're also 5-1, 2-0 in the conference with a pretty good win over a Wake Forest team. So You can't sleep on Louisiana. I know we traveled to Louisiana this year. That matchup has never been favorable for us.
We do travel.
Had the win on a field goal back in 2022.
And the year before that.
Well, we lost on the field goal the year before that, but that was a fun game for me personally.
We really don't. I mean, we do pay attention to the East, but not so much. We typically focus on the West because we see a lot more West teams than we do East teams. We do have some knowledge about the East teams. We obviously know about App State. We know about Marshall. We know about JMU and Georgia Southern. He has a personal hatred over here for Georgia State. Yeah. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. However, their win against Vanderbilt makes less and less sense every single day.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
But yeah, we have ULM after Troy, don't we?
Yeah, that's our upcoming
October
game.
26th.
So, I mean,
we have not fared well.
We were hoping that after the first half, it'd be a little bit easier, but as of right now, it's not looking too promising.
Yeah, you said in your last podcast episode that after you smacked us, that it would be real easy going to UL. I've listened to you boys, and I've had to study you ever since you put out that graphic. That I took it personally, and so I find it interesting. Tonight you sound scared, but I mean you weren't scared saying that you're going to smack us, you're going to smack ULM. So I mean, where's the
this guy runs Twitter?
What's the problem? What's the problem, boys? Had y'all had a 5-piece of Foosackleys before y'all got on the air? Is that what was going on?
Brought up the graphic. I'm glad you brought up the graphic. How long have I been using that graphic for?
I made it during a basketball game.
Since spring 2023.
Yeah.
Boys, we don't pay attention to basketball. Don't become one of those fan bases, okay? Nothing matters except for football in this conference. That's why we're here. That's why App State fans are dejected that you guys went up there and kicked them around like you owed them money. I mean, they're not concerned if you go up there and beat them in basketball or baseball. This is a football conference. Don't start talking to me about basketball. Well, we're going to get into that a little bit later. I mean, y'all weren't worried. So, and oh yes, Scott Cross is the man that cannot get us past 20 wins. You're absolutely right, Warhawk Report. I appreciate you bringing that up.
3 straight seasons of 20 wins there for Scott Cross. It's very consistent.
I will say I love Scott Cross a lot more than I love Richie Riley.
Yeah.
And if you were here, you'd understand.
Yeah.
But, I will say here's the thing. Our last podcast episode, we were pretty confident because it was prior to the Arkansas State game.
Whatever happened in that, yeah.
When we seen what happened in that, our confidence meter fell from here to about here because, unfortunately, we don't know what's what team you're going to see.
Yeah.
You could see literally the team that beat Eastern Michigan, or you could see the team that played against Arkansas State. You just never know.
You could see the team that either put up 87 points, or you could see the team that,
Put up 18.
Yeah, I said this
Yeah.
today in our group chat. It's about 50-50 right now. I really don't know who can win this game. I really don't know what version of either team we're going to see tomorrow. So it's kind of scary. But I'm also
I got some quotes for you boys. Don't you worry. But let's get through. I mean, Dom's got a plan here. This is his show. Your Honor, go ahead and move the proceedings forward. But when we get to this point, I've got some quotes from your show and some timestamps I'd like to bring up.
Oh, okay. All right.
Including one of y'all has a really unhealthy obsession with the band Creed, which is just unnecessary.
That is
unless you're old enough to have gone to high school with me. I don't know why in the world you're paying for Creed concert tickets. But Your Honor, my apologies. You move forward and go ahead with your proceedings. I've got my opening statement ready.
All right. Yeah. So I knew there would be a West heavy focus, and we've got a lot of power on the West as it looks like so far. So no surprise there. Obviously, this one kicked us off last week. It was the Thursday night game, and it was never really in doubt after that first two scores, I guess, for JMU. You guys all tune into this one, check this one out?
sadly, yes.
For a quarter and a half, maybe?
Yeah, it was good for about the first 10 minutes. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I watch all Coastal games just to make sure Grayson McCall doesn't sneak onto the field. But other than that, I mean, this was exactly what we expected.
Yeah. This one, I think JMU was favored by at least 10 or more, I think, and obviously easily took care of business there. They did a stat. I don't know if you guys saw this one. If you added Coastal's scores up from the last 4 or 5 matchups in this series and put it against JMU's score for any single one of those games, they would lose every single time. So
Coastal just loves to be bad against JMU for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know what the magic is there, but it's definitely working in the Duke's favor. One that was a little bit of a surprise. I know that TJ and I had talked about ODU having a great chance in this one, but over there on the east side, ODU squeaks by Georgia State to get a Sun Belt win, which you guys were talking about before we went live. Vanderbilt win over, Georgia State's win over Vanderbilt, but here they are sitting at 0-2 in the conference. It doesn't make much sense.
I'll let you guys discuss this one.
That's
because
college
I'm
football as a
overly
whole.
biased.
To be honest with you, I don't really understand anything anymore either. I really don't. I mean, it gets confusing by the week, to be honest with you. I mean, I saw my Florida team, the Gators almost went to beat Tennessee. So I really don't know what in the world to expect.
Oh, I think Vanderbilt went over to Center Park Stadium and sacrificed themselves before the college football gods for the chance to come back and beat Alabama at home in their construction site stadium. That's the only thing that makes sense, is that they were like appeasing Apollo or something like that by going to Center Park and losing. Because they had more fans than Georgia. Georgia State has 17 fans. So there's no way that Vanderbilt didn't have more fans. I mean, all the orthopedists in Atlanta had to be there rooting for their alma mater. So, not surprised by this. And Georgia State really needs to start to get it together.
Yeah, I don't know. The only thing that makes sense a little bit here is the quarterback change for ODU has seemed to work in their favor pretty strongly with Joseph now back there. This is Wilson pictured here in this graphic. I thought that they should have stuck with him because he provided an element that Wilson didn't to his game, and he's taking a little bit better care of the ball, which was one of Wilson's downsides early in the season. So, and Chris Ward is agreeing with you here, Joe. Huge turnout for Georgia State, all 500 fans.
That's being very generous.
Yeah, for the most part, that seems to be the case there. Speaking of 500 fans, Southern Miss seems to still have plenty of them, but they are none too happy with how their season's going after they drop another game, 38-21 to ULM. Again, the hottest team in the Sun Belt at this point of the season, 5-1 overall, 3-0 in the conference, rolling quite along. Joe, when do you guys get them with Troy?
ULM?
Yeah.
Well, we got him, and we lost to him.
That one already happened. All right, that's right.
Yeah, that was real clever of you there, Dom. But I mean, the one thing, and maybe we'll get into this a little bit later because I think the three young scholars in front of us are going to learn this kind of thing. And that is that, the sad part about this for Brian Vincent, who's a great coach, and the players they've got there, is that without fan support, financial and attendance, you're not going to keep this up. They're having a great season. Maybe one day Disney will make a movie about it. But to be honest with you, even if you look at this graphic, if you tell me, do you want to be Southern Miss or do you want to be ULM? I want to be Southern Miss. Maybe ULM at the end of this season gets to go to the Camellia Bowl and beat Ohio, which those three young men can tell you is harder than it looks. But at the end of the day, it's going to drop off because they don't have the support, whereas a school like Southern Miss has it. So people are going to demand that they get better. No one's going to demand anything from ULM because they don't show up to games. They have the smallest budget of any D1A school. So unfortunately, they're having a great run right now. But unless all of a sudden they just start investing and get that Duck Dynasty money that they've never been able to get a hold of and start putting it in their program, it's not going to matter. This is going to be that one season that everybody looks at and goes, well, isn't that amazing? ULM had a great year.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a very good, fair point. Southern Miss definitely has that entrenched fan base, and when they are happy or pissed off, you will find them. Whereas ULM, I'm starting to see a couple more fans, but still not to the level of the established fan bases around the Sun Belt that the rest of them have.
And the thing, you just really got to give it time.
Yeah.
Again, they haven't been this good in I don't even know how long, eons, right? They haven't been this good in ever. And so you can't just expect a fan base to show up like that, right? You have to put together consistent seasons, and it may take 5 years, it may take 6, but I guarantee you, if they do continue to even be competitive, fans will show up, recruits will show up.
Yeah,
they recruited quite well somehow this past year.
Used the portal very well. I mean, I agree with Preston. I think they're kind of in like a rebuild right now, and it's just. They're more focused on really just the players and the coaching rather than they are the fans. So, but they're doing great in the portal. They're doing great recruiting wise, but it's also, I'd say like a rebuild, and it's going to take time for them to get to the level that they really want crowd wise.
And I mean, I'm sure as Trojan Joe knows, fans only show up when you win. And so, if you don't win, the fans don't show up. And so, ULM is winning, so hopefully the fans will start showing up.
Hey, young man, respect your elders. I don't know if you've looked at average attendance.
Don't talk to me about average attendance. The schools only report the ticket sales. All seen the photos.
Young man, am I going to need to call your grandmother? Because I'll do it. We have a better average attendance than y'all have ever dreamed of. In fact, I don't know if you know this, but y'all's first practice facility actually fell down because it was built on fan support. So, I mean, the best attendance y'all have ever had is when y'all have invited us down to come to your little vault bait stadium, whatever you call it. And we've actually never lost there. And the last time y'all won, we were in Sad People Stadium. I think you were in the 7th grade, if I got that right from your Twitter.
That's probably right.
It's crazy that the thing that collapsed the JTC is an indoor practice facility, which is something that you guys decided not to have until now.
Yeah, well, because we're going to build one that doesn't kill people, son. I mean, y'all are just making it too dang easy. I feel like Tom Hardy. I showed up here for a firefight, and y'all are bringing me a rolling pin. Yeah, Your Honor, to the next game. Don't let these boys walk into this trap.
All right. Well, this one is one that has gone kind of both ways here. Arkansas State looked like they might be a challenge coming in, and then Texas State rolls them 41-9. Texas State kind of finally looking the part. Yeah, looking the part they should have to start the season off with. They had some tough games against some really good opponents. Obviously, those 2 losses there were against Arizona State and Sam Houston State, who I think combined have 2 losses between the 2 teams still at this point. So, this one. And anybody scared of that Texas State offense over there in the West?
Yes, very.
Yeah.
The great thing about it is we get them the very last week.
Yeah, the day after Thanksgiving. Nobody's going to be here for that, but
I will.
Sean will be one of the about 2 students in attendance. Due to the Iron Bowl being a thing, people will migrate.
Well, this is on a Friday, but that's also like,
We see your stadium.
Mr. Ward understands.
Chris Ward looks like he wants to sign me up for a subprime mortgage in his profile picture. Okay, so I'm not gonna hang out with that dude.
Is it possible to pull up the photos?
I wish you could, because that guy looks like he wants to be my city councilman and also raise my property tax. But I mean, you guys just lost to Arkansas State, which is tough. Troy hadn't done that in Jonesboro in a long time. I know they have waterfalls in the stadium, so your guys were probably pretty impressed by that. Well, you're probably not a very good one, Chris. But the issue with Texas State coming down into the bank, which Chris is going to like since he's an accountant, is that they're coming down at the very end of the season. So, like, you guys are very honest that unless they go to Foosackles before the game and get food poisoning, it's really not going to affect them very much. But I honestly think if I had to pick that game right now, I'm going to shock these 3 young scholars here that are, I'm sure, ready to get ready for midterms after this thing. I would pick their team to beat Texas State. Because I don't think Texas State is a team that falls apart towards the end of every season. That's what they do. And this is a mix and match roster, just as it's been every year that Kenny's been there. So I don't expect them to be very good by the time they roll into Mobile. But that's just my expectation.
I'm hoping you're right.
Crow's Chicken also does rule. Thank you, Brian. Go to Brundage, Alabama, eat some real chicken. Oh, no, Brian, you're terrible.
Got him. He got him.
The slow roll there. Oh,
yeah,
man.
be nice to him. That dog he was with was named Miss South Alabama at one point, okay? So be very nice.
Oh, man. Oh, we got it rolling now. So we got some comments here on this one. We saw Georgia Southern with one hell of a comeback. They end up winning this game by 1. They did go for 2 at the end there to try and make it a 3-point game in case Marshall got in field goal range. They did not even get close. They completed the comeback, a magical finish there as they scored, I think, 21 unanswered points to take the win. Starting off with a safety too. It's kind of a crazy way to finish it. But Austin Moore saying, I don't know why J.C. French is starting the game against JMU when Dex was on fire on Saturday. Well, I think you have a potential starter, or you have your consistent starter so far this season get knocked out with a completely missed targeting call. Let's be honest. I don't know how many of you guys saw that as well. Pretty cut and dry, if you ask me. I'm not sure, like the guys that were calling the game, how you don't even review that. But I don't know if you give it to the backup quarterback just because he had a couple good series to end the game. I think you stick with the starter who got you there in the first place. I don't know what you guys think on that in general, not even just with Georgia Southern, but you giving the ball to a guy who came in and finished the game for 7 minutes, even if he was looking hot, when the guy that didn't even get pulled out, it was just because of an injury. I mean, what would you guys do in that situation?
That's a really slippery slope.
Now, I will say this entire offseason, I was saying that Dexter Williams would be the starter. That's
Yeah,
just
I
kind
think
of what
I
I
agree with
assumed
you, too.
would happen. But now, I do want to just say about this game real quick, that was some of the worst officiating I think I've ever seen in my entire life. There was a ridiculous amount of missed calls, a ridiculous amount of just bad calls in general. There was I didn't catch the ending of it, but I know that at one point there was a fumble that I guess was
I think I know what
I
you're
didn't
talking
catch
about.
the end of it either.
all I know is that the officiating was very bad.
Which you would think for a group of 5, the premier group of 5, we could get some.
Yeah.
You'd have pretty consistent officiating. And I'm not saying that our officiating is bad in any way. Sometimes it's questionable, sometimes it's not. But there are too many instances of it being questionable for us to try to claim, hey, we are the premier group of 5.
We need to stop acting like we're CUSA here. We gotta get the officiating in check.
I couldn't agree more, boys. You guys are right on the money. I mean, obviously, maybe I've misjudged y'all. I wish that this game had the recruiting crew or the officiating crew from 2022 in that Troy game against y'all.
Of
when the
course you would
officiating
wish
crew
they had that.
made sure that your receiver who tried to fake, maybe he was getting a theater degree or something, and he tried to pretend like he had caught the ball, but he hadn't. And that officiating crew kept it fair and made sure. Oh my gosh, that is the undoing of an athletic program right there. When you bring up women's soccer, guys, take the flag down behind you. Go ahead and shut it down. I forget your faculty advisor's name. I tried to write it down. Dr. Patrick or something.
We can't be saying anything good about women's soccer.
Yeah, good. Call him, tell him he needs to go because that's the end of your program. No one cares about women's soccer. Come on, Soccer Jack 55, get out of here. But I mean, I wish we had a crew that good as we had in 2022 when we kept y'all from trying to steal a game because that would have really been more fair, I think. And we all agree on that, and I think that's great.
Joe, you need to maybe blow on your glasses and rub it a little bit so you can actually see because he clearly caught the ball. It was clear as day. Everyone knew that he caught the ball. And unfortunately, in the past, I'd say the last two Battle of the Belts, the refs have been pretty fair. And of course, this sounds bad coming from a South Alabama fan, but I would say the refs have been pretty favorable to Troy.
You think they gave us the 18 points last year in the 28-10 win? Those are some heck of a refs, huh?
Last year, they really called that. They gave Troy that touchdown right near the end.
They did. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
But the 2022 game, come on now. Be honest. Even he caught that ball. Even you know.
My glasses are clean, man. I knew to apply to go to Troy, not where you go. So, my glasses are just fine.
Yeah, let's get back to this comment right here from TJ. The inadvertent whistle has to be the worst call I've ever witnessed, right next to the missed targeting. Yeah, I think that was the fumble you guys maybe were talking about. They actually replayed that pretty quickly after it happened. I mean, the Georgia Southern player had picked it up and he was going to go untouched into the end zone, whether they blew the play dead or not. They blew it dead like right as he was picking the ball up. Like it wasn't even close. It wasn't like they blew it while the guys were down, then the ball spit out and then he picked it up. It was a pretty bad one.
See, and the issue with that is that I've seen instances this year where the refs just don't blow the whistle at all and they let the play run out. So we just need some sort of consistency.
Yes.
You have an inadvertent whistle here, but then in other instances, there's just no whistle and they let the play run out. I mean, you have replay. Why not just let it go?
Yeah, I'm for that too, especially when you can't see what's going on. Just wait a minute. Those guys on the field are also going to let you know something else is about to happen, right? Like You see a guy just start sprinting away, something's happening there. You just need to wait a minute and let it play out. You can add time to the clock. Like I think it was Austin who was saying it. Yeah, Austin Moore was saying it. Like almost every play was reviewed, especially towards the end. They were taking their looks at everything. So why not just wait? Like you said, let that play out. You can go to review if it should have been blown dead, right? Can't do it the other way around, unfortunately. And that's what we saw in that one. But one heck of a finish there for Georgia Southern in one game that was previously built up to be pretty good going into the season. And certainly in years past as they'd matched up for Sun Belt championships, but certainly not this year. App State goes down yet again by 10 points to those Cajuns from Louisiana. I don't know anybody surprised by that one. I mean, I don't know if people thought App could turn it around or something. I don't think many App fans thought they were going to go down there and get a victory. I'll say that.
I'm surprised that App is as bad as they are. I'm not surprised about the result of this game, but I mean, going into the season, I thought App State was going to be pretty good.
Pretty good. And I think most of America had that same kind of
it kind of makes our win against them a little bit less good. Like we were so hyped after that. We were like, oh man, we're going to run the table in the Sun Belt, and then they just kept losing. And it's like, well,
never mind.
All right.
See, and funny story is I have a friend who's with the team, and he come into the locker room the day after, just to do the team meetings and whatever. And he says that Major had actually come out and said like, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with App State, but that is not App State. And so apparently he was right. Apparently this isn't, the normal App State, or not what we were expecting, to say the least. Yeah, I mean, we thought Joey Aguilar was going to be a Sun Belt Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Year.
Preseason Player of the Year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this was by far his worst game here. I think he threw 4 picks all by himself. They had 5 turnovers as a team, so not a good game for him. And it looks like Sean Clark was talking about in his press conference today. the beginning of the season, they had him trying to get rid of the ball quickly. And now that they've gotten some things straightened up with the offensive line, they're saying that, he should have a little bit more time and just be looking for, some other reads instead of trying to get rid of the ball so quick. So maybe that's the reason for some of the interceptions. But yeah, definitely a down year for App as that continues. Louisiana still looking like one of those top teams over there in the West Side. TJ's going back to that Georgia Southern game that we just went off. He said he never left his seat, had faith the whole time, witnessed the greatest comeback in Southern history. Hail Southern, I'm headed to bed. Y'all have a good night. You too, TJ. And yeah, great job sticking in your seat. There's not enough people around the country, Georgia Southern or elsewhere, who do that when the game is still in doubt. And obviously that one didn't look like it was in great amount of doubt, but there's a reason why you stay to the end. They stay to that final whistle. And Austin's agreeing. He's right. It's not App State. It's App State. Well, so far this year, maybe that is true. All right. A little fun one before we get to the matchup between the two of you that happens tomorrow night. Can't wait for that one. I also just love the name of that one, so we'll get to that in a second. But I've got just an outlook. This is mostly for the fan bases, not necessarily the teams themselves, like what they're kind of thinking going into the next week. Obviously, Georgia Southern with that comeback win, Texas State, ULM, the Cajuns, the Dukes of JMU. I don't really have anybody who's kind of, mostly happy, but just kind of partly cloudy outlook. And then I've got some cloudy ones. I think South Alabama, like you guys said, you guys were really high after that App State win. And then you have that game against Arkansas State. And now you are kind of wavering, maybe. I don't know. You guys explain where you at mentally as a fan right now.
Scared and confused.
Yeah, I think our confidence really got shot because we were riding high for 2 weeks, and then LSU came in, or we came in LSU, and it's really lost by – we got some guys banged up in that game, and then the team as a whole got just banged up, and we only put up 10 points, and then for a high-scoring offense, we go in the next week against Arkansas State and don't even put up 20. So it's obviously very confusing, very scary because you don't know what to expect on a game-by-game basis. There's really no outlook as to what – we could win out for all we know and win the West and still have a chance at the title, but we could also
lose out.
Or win 2 more games, this one in Southern Miss, and finish 4-8. So we really don't know what to expect, and this is kind of very normal. It's a normal thing, sadly.
We know less about the team now than we did before the season started.
Yeah, that's true. It's been the same way the past 2 years, ever since I've been a student here. So we just don't know what to expect. We honestly just don't know. It's very confusing.
I will
Makes sense.
say they're going to hate me for saying this. The pattern says we win the next 2. And then you see them roll their eyes. I'm not going to mention what it is yet. I want to see if we win the next 2. And this is no offense to Joe. I'm just saying there is a pattern. And if the pattern holds true, we win the next 2.
It's a pattern that theoretically ended when we lost to Texas State. But he continues to just drag it on.
One day
I really don't know what to do.
There's a pattern. There's a pattern, all right. It's 6 years in a row of us taking that belt home with us, son. So, yeah, there is a pattern. I agree with you.
Well, I hope you cleaned it real nice for us this year because it's going to be staying here.
It's got a lot of dust on it. We're not used to even moving it. We don't bring it down there with us. Y'all never win. 2014, that was 10 years ago.
Oh, man.
But you're right, Dom. My apologies, Your Honor. We are definitely in a rainy season here, and unlike our friends over there in Mobile in the city of Six Flags, we are not happy, and the Troy fan base is calling for our coaches firing. Because see, in Troy, Alabama, coaches do one of 2 things: they either leave for other head coaching jobs, or they get fired because they're not good enough. We don't live in a town, I don't know, let's not name a specific town in Alabama, where coaches either leave to become defensive coordinators and give up the worst wins in the history of a university that prides itself on national titles, or you fire them at the very, very, very end of their contract because you can't afford their buyout. That's not what we are. But other schools are that, but I'm not saying any names in particular.
Hey, to be fair to Kane Womack, you're stupid if you would not take a defensive coordinator job at Alabama for like how much does he get?
Like 2.5.
$2.5
He's
million.
making about $1 million right now.
And to go work with your best friend? I mean, come on now. You tell me you wouldn't take that?
A fair is a place where they judge pigs, so I don't have to be fair. I mean, he left y'all to go be a defensive coordinator. He felt like he wasn't good enough to be a head coach, and he was right. Y'all's best season ever. What did he do? He didn't beat Troy, and that's the story of your program. We're good. We can't beat Troy. We're bad. And get kicked by Troy. We're good. Lose to Troy. We are in the upper court of the Sun Belt. We are in the lords of the Sun Belt. And y'all are down where you belong because it's Troy's job to keep you there.
So
and
what are you
we'll
gonna say
always do that.
What are you going to say?
I mean, look, are you about to impress me? Are you going to spit some stats on beating Northwestern State, FCS school that had to take a year off last year? Is that what I'm about to get? Or am I going to get App State things?
No, look, I'm going to tell you this. You know, we acknowledge, you know, we haven't won against y'all in years, all right? You know, but my question is, you know, you're spitting all this at us. You know, it's your job to beat us, all that. What happens when you lose? Because you're going to lose eventually. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be next year. But you're going to lose. So what are you going to do?
I mean, what I'm telling you is that I'm here, gentlemen, telling you about – and Davis, I'm not even dealing with you, son. Because you messaged me on Twitter like you had the stones to come on and talk to me, but you obviously don't. And I know that you're not too busy studying because, like, what are you taking down there? Underwater basket weaving? You're fine. You could spend 30 minutes talking to me, okay? But, like, so big ups to these three guys for actually coming on. Davis, no respect to you. You're welcome on the Troy Boys podcast anytime.
He's in a different state right now.
He's what?
He's in Florida. So
okay. I mean, come on, son. You're at the school, right? I mean, I don't have to deal with somebody sending me messages on Twitter and then you know, like they're big and bad and then not even showing up. So good for you guys. The bottom line is I'm telling you about facts, things that have happened. You guys are like high school seniors talking to girls in their class, asking them to prom. It might be this. It could be that. Come on, give me a chance. That's y'all. So maybe tomorrow night is your night. But you know what the problem is, guys? And you've got to accept this. The night that y'all beat Troy University will be the best night in the history of your program. Okay? And the days that we beat y'all, we just call Tuesday. We don't even think about it.
okay.
It's just something we do. So, I mean, figure it out.
Davis is pressed.
I'm not trying to be mean. I like you guys. I honestly do. But you made that graphic. You took our logo. You turned it upside down. You turned it into an L. Then we started trying to go back and forth, and you got upset about it. So, like, here we are. Now rubber meets the road. You can apologize for making the graphic. I'll jump off this call right now, and y'all can spend the rest of the time talking about Joey Jones or whatever it is y'all want to talk about. But if y'all want to make this a rivalry, a real deal rivalry, let's do it. It's a slobber knocker. Let's go. Tell me something. Make it hurt. Stab me with something. I got lists here. You want Super Bowl champions? What do you want? What do you want?
All right, well, I'll do a quick overview while they're thinking about that because I've got these stats here that Troy has taken 9 out of the 12 matchups with South Alabama in the last 6 straight. This rivalry started back in 2012, and I don't know, Joe, you've been around a little bit longer with it than when did it like pick up between the fan bases with intensity? Like, I don't remember it starting off with the letters being crossed out and you know, not included. So like when did it become a little bit more intense?
That's a good question. I think it was around 2 or 3 years after it started when the student bodies, the SGAs, made the belt. You know, there was kind of rumors about what it was going to be called. The battle for I-65 at one point, which is really dumb because Troy is on I-65. But when they came up with that belt, you know, and the athletes got really excited about that, that's when I think it really became a big rivalry. We had just lost our rivalry with UAB because they decided they didn't even want to have a program anymore. That's how bad we kept beating those guys. And so, you know, when they came on board, I think Troy people were really excited. The worst thing that we see is in baseball season, you start to see people from their side say like, well, we don't even care about Troy. Our real rivalries are Southern Miss, and we're a baseball school and all this. And that's no one's a baseball school. What are you, Cal State Fullerton? Like, I mean, you care about your football program. You know you hate us. Just say you hate us. It's not embarrassing. It's okay to hate people. We hate people. We hate Middle Tennessee. Hadn't played them in years.
Okay, to be fair, you know, I want to use this. I'm going to use this football argument, and it's going to tie into baseball. Here's the thing. Do y'all really see us as a rival in football after beating us, 7 years? 7 years in a row. Like, do you see this a competitive? Because to be honest, it feels really skewed, right? And there was a time, I think it was last year, you know, there was conversations here. A lot of people were like, well, do we really have a rivalry more with Troy or Southern Miss? Because Southern Miss is, you know, it's another rivalry that we have, and we have a lot more favorable record against them than we do y'all. And here's the thing about baseball. You know, you bring up baseball, you know, no one's really a baseball school. We really don't see y'all as a rival in baseball just because we typically beat y'all more often than not in baseball, right? We see Southern Miss more as an opponent who, you know, every year they travel to us. Most of the time they kick our butt, unfortunately. They're just a better baseball school. What does that say?
Yeah, no, we definitely still see you as a rival. We could beat you for the next 47 years in a row, and we would still just want to beat you. Because that's just – I feel like we've got a relationship as a school. I feel like – I mean, I love it, though. I love the fact that if I come down there and walk to y'all's stadium through your campus, that people are not going to be nice to me. I don't want a rivalry game to be where people invite me to their tent and try to give me a corn dog. I don't want that. I want them to be like, get out of here. You don't get anything from us. Go sit in the worst part of the stadium. That's a rivalry to me. So, I mean, and we've got that. Your students are mean to our students are mean to your students. I think it's a beautiful thing. We've got to keep it going. You don't want to have a rivalry with Southern Miss.
I'm not mind that we win every week. We win every time. I mean, it's kind of.
I mean, the thing I'll say, like, I think all of us can say we can at least respect Troy. I do not respect Southern Miss one bit. But the respect almost makes this rivalry better, even if we have, you know, had some struggles, if you will, over the past few years. That being said, though, the hate is real, especially, you know, definitely from my part, which is why these past few years have not been fun for me.
So do you have, like, you guys are current students, so you have a little bit different element than some of the people we've had on the show. Do you have a lot of friends or family members that have gone to Troy or are currently at Troy that helps, you know, build this rivalry for you guys personally?
My cousin goes to Troy, and he's a student recruiting assistant with the football team, and I do the same exact title here at South. So it's, so that's one thing.
So I'm going to be completely honest with you. I am from nowhere near around here. I did not know South Alabama or Troy existed before I came here. The only big schools that I knew about here, are the only really three big schools, were UAB, Alabama, and Auburn. I'm from Dallas, Texas. So I'm used to all them Texas teams. The Red River rivalry is my biggest, that used to be my biggest game. Now I will say this, over the 3 years that I've been here, the hate in my heart that has been grown for Troy has been exponential, right? I didn't even know these schools existed, and I hate that T with every ounce of my heart.
Nice. Well, we like that. It's like we said, every week is hate week in the Sun Belt. And I think that's a thing that we can have fun with in the same realm of hating each other. So Joe, let's see a first note that you took after dissecting these guys' latest episode.
I think I've gone through the best.
Which episode was it?
It was the one after y'all had played LSU. October 2.
Arkansas State. Okay.
Yeah. Here's some of my favorite quotes. Quote, we lost to LSU, but hey, we scored. That's not something you're going to hear on the Troy Boys podcast because we beat LSU. At the 11-minute, 28-second mark, one of you said, I'm an Auburn fan.
Wait,
That's
you just
not
said you guys
something-
beat LSU. You said you beat LSU, right?
We did. Yes.
What happened the year that you guys beat LSU?
Oh, here we go. That's the last time y'all won. Congratulations.
You lost that game.
You are following along. I like it. One of you said you were an Auburn fan. I wouldn't allow that on our podcast ever.
For that.
Yeah, I would kick you out.
Personally, I would never be a
Go
fan
be
of
on
that.
an Auburn podcast.
He's a Virginia Tech fan, so it could be a lot.
Is Sean? Are one of you Sean? Okay, Sean, you said that you like to listen to, quote, a pregame hype song before classes that you don't like. So I hope you listen to it before this podcast because this is going to be a class you don't like, okay? And then, this is one of my favorites. At the 24-minute, 13-second mark, one of you said, you were talking about the Troy game. You're interviewing a young man who plays for your team. And you said that the Troy game was going to be exciting, quote, especially since we actually have a chance. And then you caught yourself and you said, I mean, because we should beat Troy. But your mind knew, your brain knew, boys, that you maybe have a chance. And then
It's called being humble.
No, it's not. Come
I've
on.
learned my lesson. I will say this.
Your
I have
fans.
talked a lot of trash, and I will be humble. All
There is
right. I
not
know
a-
above
there's-
and beyond, the Lord will strike me down if I do not stay humble. And so I'm trying my best to stay humble.
I got some bad news for you. The Lord went to Troy. And then finally, the 32-minute, 38-second mark. I already brought this up, but I have to bring it up again. Y'all were talking about your bye week in November, and someone said, it's amazing because I have a Creed concert that day.
What do you hate on Creed? Hey, whoa. Creed is amazing, by the way. First,
Are they at what? Like,
How
are
can you
you
hate
watching
Creed?
play chess? What are they
you're just
amazing
not
at?
cultured. That's all I'm hearing. You're just not cultured. You just don't like Creed. You're not cultured.
There's a good thing. It's a good thing that music is subjective.
I mean, it is. I mean, I guess it could have been a Nickelback concert.
What's wrong with Nickelback? I feel like the hate for Nickelback is y'all just don't understand.
What's your favorite band?
Oh my gosh, the Drive-By Truckers probably.
The Who?
I'm old. Remember, one of you said I went to school in 1955. Remember that from Twitter? So I
He's
mean,
the one
so
that runs to Twitter. So every single
my
time,
my favorite band is Chubby Checker, like or whatever you think was happening in 1955, which is funny because our alumni Mel Lucas didn't even start your athletic programs in 1964. So I mean, for 9 years we didn't have to worry about you guys, and that's when I was there. But I mean, no, that's all I got from your episode that I listened to. Y'all do a great job. And I'm just trying to give you a hard time. I'm glad y'all jumped on tonight because I thought we needed to take advantage of all the energy. I hate that Davis couldn't be here, and I really hope he'll come jump on the Troy Boys podcast because he and I were having a lot of fun going back and forth on X or whatever we're supposed to call it.
Yeah. I just want to mention that comment that Ben James just put. You know, they just announced tomorrow that the stadium is sold out. Now, will it be sold out? Well, we don't really know. They probably sold, as the Troy Trojans like to do, they like to announce they sell more tickets than they actually have fans show up.
Yeah.
And so he can roll his eyes all he wants. I can literally, after the show, go pull up the photos. I mean, photos don't lie. You know, and I will admit, South Alabama does the same thing. We'll say we sell more tickets than we actually have fans.
2022.
That's just how it is. I mean, that's what all teams do. So that it's definitely going to be crowded. There will be a lot of people there tomorrow. Will it be sold out? Probably not. It might be. I could be completely wrong. I don't know. But there will be more than, I will say, 17,000 people at the game. So
All the pressure's on y'all. That's I don't
absolutely.
know how
Absolutely.
I don't know how the Judge Cressetto has this to end. But the one last thing I've got on my notes that I've got to say is, if you want a shot to get Troy, now's your shot, guys. You had it for 3 years under Chip Lindsey. You couldn't beat Chip Lindsey once. In fact, Chip Lindsey, the worst coach that's ever coached at Troy University since 1909, beat you the worst that any coach has ever beaten you. He beat you 29-0 in your home stadium.
Which we appreciate because that's what got Steve Campbell fired.
Okay, Steve Campbell,
Had
another
he put
Troy
up
guy.
any points that day, he would have kept his job.
We
appreciate that.
keep sending y'all Troy people, and you still can't make it work. But what I'm telling you is, we hate our coach. All of our quarterbacks are hurt. I might play quarterback tomorrow. If you see this out there instead of a helmet, you'll know it's me. So this is it. This is it. So now you can tag us. I said don't tag us if you didn't come on this show tonight. Now you can. So if y'all win the ball game, tag us all you want with all your little memes and all your little skibbity toilet Ohio Riz, whatever you can.
Hey, that was Ben Whitehead who said that, not any of us.
But the end of the day, if y'all lose this ball game, if I were y'all, I'd take the flag down from behind you, I'd fold it up, and I'd start rooting for the University of Mobile Rams, the second best religious school in the entire state of Alabama. Because if you can't beat us now, you'll just never beat us.
See, and speaking of that fact, if you would go, we just posted it right before this. We just posted the Troy episode, and that is exactly word for word what we said. If we don't beat you now, we never will.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for you, we're going to win.
Okay. I mean, every year y'all play us, you pick a quarterback off the island of misfit toys, and you try to do it. So I hope maybe this year will be the year you can do it. But if Tucker Kilcrease comes down there, if Tucker Kilcrease throws for 300 yards, I think y'all should consider the UAB treatment and just end your program and just be done. Because he's from Brantley, Alabama. If y'all do that, I swear to you, I'm going to come on the Sunbelt Syndicate podcast every episode till the end of the season and just restate the Tucker Kilcrease stat line over and over again. But, it's up to you guys. Y'all get down there, yell at Tucker, and let's see what happens. Troy beats South Alabama by like 50. CJ, you got to quit drinking so much. That's a lot of moonshine that you've had tonight. Davis Bridges, you and I are really – I feel like – Davis, did we just become best friends? Because I feel like we kind of did. And this is like a stepbrothers situation.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was the stepbrother line.
Yeah, you do have to call me Dragon from now on. That's all I got. Those are all my notes, unless y'all want me to go through Troy Super Bowl champions, because I don't think y'all have any, do you?
I'll let you both rip this one here. Ben James says Troy and South Alabama players are hand-me-downs from Auburn and Alabama. Go ahead and rip that comment to shreds.
Yeah, I wouldn't be taking anything from an A-State fan who can not even compete with Arkansas in their own state, who's pretty bad. So I wouldn't pipe up very much, especially not about Auburn and Alabama.
We only have one Auburn transfer.
So,
Who even is it?
Hey, let me know when they make the front page of their local paper, by the way.
Hey.
They haven't yet.
Hey, Arkansas State fans cannot let you know when something makes it to the first page of the paper because they can't read. Okay? And so that's not nice to say that to them. Ben, I'm sorry. Ben, you deserve to be treated very well. And I'm sorry that those guys were mean to you, even though you have a learning disability because you went to Arkansas State. And you couldn't even get into Memphis, son. That's embarrassing. That's not even a good school.
Are you coming to the game on Tuesday, tomorrow?
I will be there. I'm not going to tell you where I am, though, but you can find me. Just wait till we're on defense on third down, and then you'll be able to find me.
Oh, I'm sitting. I've got sweet seats, so I'm not going anywhere.
And I'll be in the student section, which will be too packed for me to go anywhere. So
do it. I love it.
I won't even be able to get another beer, which is unfortunate, but
sneak them in.
Ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point by Davis right there. Fluff Bothwell is not a hand-me-down. True freshman running back. We'll see what he can do tomorrow night.
And, you brought up Tucker Kilcrease. Have you ever heard of a guy named Gio Lopez? Perchance?
Yeah, I mean, just in passing.
He's pretty good, I think he's a lot better than Tucker Kilcrease.
Do you? Tucker Kilcrease is from Brantley, Alabama. No one's ever seen a stat line on him, so you don't know if he's better than him or not.
I've seen him playing some games. Can't lie. I've seen him play in that Texas State game. Woohoo!
You don't know how good Tucker Kilcrease is because Tucker Kilcrease doesn't know how good he is. We'll see. You're not going to see Goose. I'll go ahead and break some news, okay? Goose will not be there.
Darn.
You're not going to see Goose. If you do, he's on the sidelines. You will see Damian Taylor, and Damian Taylor's due for a game. and you're going to see Devontae Ross. And I don't think you boys have anybody in the secondary to keep up with Devontae Ross. I know
The only person I'm worried about is Devontae. I'm not worried about a running back who only averages 5.9 yards a carry.
Okay. All right. You know, a lot of people used to tell me that about Kamani Vidal. You know what he did?
Especially with Bubba in there. I ain't worried about
Kamani Vidal. All Kamani Vidal did was get people on podcasts telling me they weren't worried about him until yesterday. He got his first touch in the NFL and he scored a touchdown. So y'all just keep telling me.
We've always kind of said that Vidal is good. So, I mean,
we were scared about. I'm not worried about the 5.9 yards rush.
Okay,
not against.
Don't be scared. That's great. Well, can you call your defensive line and tell them that?
Oh, they're not scared. Hey, relax. All right, I'm not worried about. The only thing I'm worried about is the pass defense. That's been the thing I'm worried about all year, and I'm still gonna worry about it now. Rush defense, it's gonna fall in place. I'm not worried about the rush defense.
Just look down on the Troy sideline. Are y'all students behind Troy or are you students behind your own? Okay.
Yeah,
if you see a guy with the last name Connor and like a jersey in the 80s and he looks healthy, start telling your friends, like, oh boy, that cowboy I pissed off might have been right. Because if we get our tight end back, all of a sudden y'all might be headed to Dolphin Street to drink at Haley's. You know what I mean? And not in like a happy way. So just stay where you're at. Y'all don't even know where Haley. God, these kids are so young, Dom. Y'all don't even know what Haley's is.
Do you know? I don't know what Haley's is. What's Haley's, Joe?
Oh man, Haley's is a members-only club on Cathedral Square on Dolphin Street in Mobile. It is the grossest dive bar in the history of the world.
You're brave going downtown, Trojan Joe.
You can still buy cigarettes from like a knob machine where you like pull the knob. I mean, it is the kind of place that the National Historic Archive should protect and make sure that no one ruins. If that becomes a Starbucks, they should just tear the entire city of Mobile down.
Oh man, yeah. Well, maybe there will be some.
Is all I can say.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not going to wish y'all the best of luck. I hope the worst of luck. I hope you lose tomorrow night. I hope you lose every game you play after that. And I hope you wish us the same. That's a rivalry.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Like I said, I was telling these guys earlier, you know, if we get a chance to run that score up, all the way. Yeah. All the way. Don't take your foot off the pedal.
Yeah.
Burn the horse.
So speaking of score, we'll use this to wrap up the show here. But this game is on ESPN2 tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central Time. Guys, do you have scores in mind that you think this game will come out with?
I have no idea.
I don't have a score, but hopefully, I'm not going to say this confidently, but you know, I think that if we play our game and they play their game, we win by 10 or more.
Okay.
24-21. Troy wins.
Got a number, but 10 or more.
24-21. Troy wins.
Close one. So we got two close predictions though. So that's another reason for everyone to tune in. No one thinks anyone's going to run away with it, and I don't think that's going to be the case either. I don't know though. You know,
the spread is 11, I believe, for South Alabama. I think it'll be closer than 11 points.
Yeah, ESPN Bet currently has it at 13.5 for USA.
Oh wow.
What do they know that we don't?
I do not. They also have now 3, so or 8-4.
Haley's is a dump, Trojan Joe. Not surprised a boomer would still hang on to a place like that.
Wow, Hunter, you are the worst, Hunter.
Those notes is just a picture book.
Chris Ward looks like he fights environmental protection policy on the.
You know, Trojan Joe, I will say you're very confident in a head coach who does not have an FBS win yet.
Oh, look, my friend, there is no one in the world that hates Jared Parker more than a Troy fan right now. So you're not gonna hurt my feelings if you want to tell me how bad Jared Parker is, because
these guys can verify. From the moment Parker was hired, I was confused, but I'm very happy that you guys made that hire.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how. Look, if he can't find a way to beat you guys tomorrow night, he might need a real estate agent back in South Bend, because it's not going to last long. Troy fans will put up with a lot of things. Losing to you boys is not one of them.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Joe's still clinging to hope. Might need a beer before halftime. I change it.
What's going on with this guy? I mean, he must be in class with Davis drinking moonshine.
Oh man! All right, guys.
Fun day tomorrow.
Dom, thanks so much for Dom. We all need to thank you for making this a possibility. You reached out to me. I'm sure you reached out to those guys and said, "Let's come on. Let's have a death match." And you hosted a good old fashioned slobber knocker tonight. And we walked away. I think all respecting each other a little bit, but more importantly, hating each other even more than we did when the show started. And so God bless you. I hope you do a show like this again with other schools, because I would love to watch other fans go at it like this. It's not going to be as good as this. I promise you that, because these boys are all fueled up on Fusackley sauce, but it will still be good. I can promise you that.
I will tell you this, Joe, you are the best plug for Fusackley's that I've ever heard. Because before you started talking about it, I didn't even know what it was. So now I got to try.
Don't eat it. Do not. See, now I've made a mistake. Don't eat it Fusackley's. Eat it Guthrie's. Guthrie's is a much better product. Okay, you don't want the burnt toast. You're going to get at Fusackley's. Just eat it Guthrie's.
Forgot about Guthrie's.
They closed because they.
I'll try them both, and then I'll have a ratings contest on both of them. How about that?
Please do. My Auburn fan over there in the white T-shirt. He knows what Guthrie's is about.
I've heard of it. I've never had it.
I have.
Hunter's coming back. Guthrie's is mid.
My family lives in Florida.
Hunter, you're mid.
My town used to have a Guthrie's. It's best way I can put it is average. I think it's right down the middle. Fusackley's clears.
Okay.
I mean, most Guthrie's locations are either still active Guthrie's or they're title loan places. That's what happens to Guthrie's buildings. So
my hometown one became a Baskin Robbins.
Nice.
So,
good grief.
Quite a replacement. Actually, it was a Baskin Robbins Dunkin' Donuts combo, which I've been there one time and I was disappointed by the hash browns. But regardless,
you went to a place like Dunkin' Donuts and got hash browns?
I also got a coffee, which also wasn't that good. So,
yeah, that's a you thing there, man. You can't go and be getting hash browns. That's
hey, I had a gift card. If you got a gift card, you can spend it on what you want to spend.
We're college students. Gift cards is free money. That's free money.
True. True. It is free money. Guys, you want to leave with any closing thoughts or any last trash talk moments before we wrap it up here?
Go Jags and Trojan Joe. Thank you for talking with us. It's unfortunate that you didn't know Jaden Voice and caught it, but hopefully you know now.
Devin caught it.
Twins, hard to remember physics stuff. And hopefully it goes our way tomorrow. Hopefully we send you guys home sad and dejected, and yeah.
I want to see one picture from the four of you, or if Davis is going to be back in time for the game tomorrow.
Davis will be there tomorrow.
Okay. I want to see a picture, and then you guys can go your way. Just quick snap, and then you can go to the hate portion.
I don't think the Mobile City Police would appreciate that. I do appreciate, Dom, you having us on here. I appreciate you guys from Jag Nation Radio. Please go listen to their show. Go to the Jag Nation Radio podcast. They do a really, really good job. They bring on their players. They ask their players really interesting questions. My favorite is at the end of every interview, they ask their players, what do you love about football? Which to me is like such a simple question, but it's such a really interesting question because you hear these guys who've been playing football for 18, their whole lives basically, and they give you these answers and they tell you so much about why we love this sport, because the reasons that they play football are the reasons that we love football. And so what a smart way to interview players. Please go listen to Jag Nation Radio. Great show. And if you've got some spare time after you do that, listen to the Troy Boys. You can find Troy Boys with a Z anywhere on social media and anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And if you make it to Veterans Memorial Stadium, come to section 116. That is the Troy Boys section. We are there. I'm wearing this dumb hat, and I'm usually drinking some variety of fermented beverage. So please come and see us. And to all of the great Troy Boy or the great Sunbelt fan podcast, we're just so lucky to be part of this community. So thanks again, Dom, for bringing us on.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. Again, 7:30, 6:30 Central Time tomorrow, ESPN2, a national TV audience, and I guarantee there's going to be some fireworks between these two on the field, hopefully only, but there's going to be some fireworks in this one. Thank you guys for coming on, and yes, go check out both shows for sure. See you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good one.
Thank you.
See ya.